Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we are tackling a subject that, well, it's often misunderstood, isn't it?
It really is.
And maybe oversimplified too. It's the practice of loving yourself. We've gathered some really fantastic source material that gives us not just the big ideas, but actual clear steps.
Yeah, practical steps for building what is maybe the most fundamental relationship you'll ever have.
The one with yourself.
Exactly. The sources, they really stress this right away. They call it the most important relationship you will ever have, full stop.
And yet, if we're being honest, it's often the one we neglect the most, right?
Right, definitely. We just don't maintain it well.
And I think a lot of that comes down to external pressures. The material we looked at really highlights how much energy we pour outwards.
Right. Trying to please people at work, looking for likes on social media, seeking approval from, partners, family.
Yeah, constantly looking outside for that validation. And we kind of forget the basic truth. You have to accept and, love the person you see in the mirror first.
Precisely. So our mission today is really to unpack this, pull it away from just being a nice idea or a cliche.
Make it real.
Make it real, actionable. Understand what self-love actually means, the non-selfish version, and explore those small but honestly powerful changes that can really transform how you relate to yourself.
Okay, let's start with maybe the biggest hurdle. People hear self-love and they immediately think, oh, that's selfish, or that means ignoring everyone else.
That's the main misconception, yeah.
So what's the clear definition our sources give us? How do they define it beyond ego?
They're very clear on this. It is not about ego. It's not about thinking you're better than others. At its core, it's about acceptance.
And respect.
Acceptance of what, exactly?
Accepting who you are right now, like this moment. Respecting your mind, respecting your body, and crucially, respecting your feelings, even the messy ones, the uncomfortable ones.
That distinction feels important, especially when things go wrong, when we make mistakes. Acceptance versus self-hatred. Absolutely. One source puts it really well. It says true self-love means you see your mistakes. You don't ignore them. You acknowledge them, maybe learn from them.
But you don't beat yourself up for them.
Exactly. You don't use them as a weapon against yourself. And that's where acceptance connects to empowerment, which you mentioned. Accepting where you are, maybe your flaws or shortcomings right now, that's the essential first step to actually being able to change them.
Okay, so if I accept, I'm really not good at this skill yet, that acceptance stops the kind of self-blame that would prevent me from even trying to get better.
Precisely. You take away that toxic barrier. And self-love is also about giving yourself permission. Permission to go after your dreams without that little voice inside constantly nagging, oh, you don't deserve that, or you're not smart enough for that.
Right.
The core message boils down to something simple, really. I am enough, I am valuable, I deserve kindness. Not better than, just enough.
Okay, that leads us perfectly into kindness, or maybe the lack of it, when it comes to how we talk to ourselves. It's actually shocking when you stop and think about the inconsistency.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah.
We'd never talk to a friend the way we talk to ourselves sometimes.
If a friend fails something, we're all encouragement, right? Don't worry, it's okay. You'll get it next time.
Yeah, you'll nail it. But if we fail, that internal voice can just scream, I'm so stupid. I always mess this up. I'm just not good enough. It's brutal.
It's like the ultimate double standard. So the core practice here, it sounds radical, but it's about retraining that inner voice, turning the critic into, a friend.
That's exactly the goal. Consciously shifting from that default, often angry or critical voice, to one that's softer, more encouraging. Now, you might be thinking, wait, if I feel awful and I tell myself I'm great, isn't that just lying?
Yeah, that's the tricky part, isn't it? How do we handle that? Does the research address that feeling of it being fake?
It does. And it stresses it's not about just slapping on a fake positive affirmation over a bad feeling. It's not ignoring reality. It's about redirecting your focus in a realistic, kind way.
Okay, so give me an example.
So instead of that automatic, I am so stupid, after you fail a test, you consciously replace it. You pivot to something like, okay, I didn't pass this time and that's disappointing. You acknowledge the feeling.
Right. Validate it.
Exactly. But I can see where I went wrong. I'm going to study differently next time and I know I can improve.
Yeah.
See? It acknowledges the setback without destroying your self-worth.
That makes sense. It's honest but hopeful. And there was one piece of research we looked at that really explained why changing the language is so potent.
Yes. This insight connects it all. It basically said, words create feelings, feelings create actions, and actions create life.
Wow. That's powerful.
Well, it really is. If your internal words constantly create feelings of shame or inadequacy, what actions follow? Usually retreat, maybe giving up, and that shapes a life that doesn't reach its potential.
But if you change the words,
If you consciously choose words that foster hope or resilience or just okayness, you generate different feelings. Those feelings make it easier to take constructive action, to try again, to move forward. It sounds small, challenging those thoughts, but it can genuinely shift your entire life's direction.
so if that internal voice is the first big challenge, the second one is definitely that external poison comparison. It feels like it's just everywhere now.
Oh, absolutely, especially with social media.
Right. Perfect pictures, amazing trips, flawless families. Everyone's putting out their highlight reel. And it's so easy to look at that and just feel less than.
Yeah, inadequate. And the sources really call this out as the comparison track. It's fundamentally unfair to yourself
Right. Unfair.
because you're comparing your real life, the messy bits, the doubts, the boring days, the actual reality with someone else's highly edited life, their curated best moments.
You're comparing your behind the scenes footage to their movie trailer.
Exactly. It's toxic. It's unproductive. It just makes you feel bad.
So, how do we reset that? If everyone else's life looks perfect online, what should we measure ourselves against? What's the healthy benchmark?
The sources are really consistent on this. You have to shift your focus entirely inward. The only comparison that actually matters, the only one that's fair and productive, is comparing who you are today with who you were yesterday.
Your current self versus your past self.
That's it. That's the only race you're really in. Your job isn't to be better than Sarah or Tom online. It's just to be maybe 1% better, kinder, or more aware than you were yesterday.
Okay, so it becomes about asking, what tiny thing can I do today to be just a little better or maybe just a little kinder to myself than I was yesterday? What kind of small steps are we talking about?
We're talking really small. So small they feel almost effortless, undeniable. Progress doesn't have to be this huge leap.
Like what?
Like maybe today you learn one new word in a language you're studying. That's progress. Or you drink one extra glass of water. Progress. Maybe you just, catch your reflection and consciously smile at yourself for a second.
Just acknowledge yourself.
Yeah. A little moment of positive attention. These tiny things reinforce that core idea the sources mention. Small steps build big love. It's that slow, steady, incremental improvement where real, lasting self-love gets built.
And it feels like all this internal work, the self-talk, managing comparison, it needs a solid base, right? Which brings us to our physical selves, our bodies.
Yes, the sources definitely connect self-love to taking care of your physical body. It's your home, after all. You live there.
And it's often the first thing to go when we're stressed or unhappy.
Totally. We eat junk food, we don't sleep enough, we stop moving our bodies.
Yeah.
And what happens? We feel tired, sluggish, maybe more anxious or sad. It's a cycle.
So the principle is pretty straightforward.
Treat your body like you would treat someone you really care about. Give it good fuel, make sure it gets enough rest, find ways to move it gently. When your body feels better, taken care of, your mind often follows.
And I liked how the research reframed self-care. It's so often marketed as, expensive spa days or fancy products.
Right, like performative self-care almost. But the material we looked at defined it differently.
How so?
It really boiled it down to attention, conscious attention. Self-love, in this context, means paying attention to what your body and mind actually need, not necessarily what advertisers tell you to buy.
So what are some of those simple, attentive acts the sources mention? Things that don't cost a lot.
Things that often cost nothing but intention, like taking a warm shower and actually feeling the water, not just rushing through it. Drinking enough water during the day, sitting quietly with a physical book, away from screens.
Getting thoughts out on paper.
Yeah, writing down your thoughts to kind of clear your head, listening to music you love, walking outside, maybe in nature if you can. And they specifically mentioned deep breathing.
Why deep breathing?
Because it's a direct way to soothe your nervous system. It tells your body, you're safe, it's okay. It shifts you out of that fight or flight mode. It's a simple act of kindness you can give yourself anytime. And again, when the body feels calmer, the mind tends to follow.
And connected to this idea of quiet attention is being alone. For a lot of people, being alone feels scary, like proof they're unwanted or something.
Yes, there can be a real fear there. But the sources encourage reframing it. Seeing alone time not as loneliness, but as valuable solitude.
Why is it valuable?
Because it's your chance to actually hear yourself think. without all the external noise and demands. It's when you can rediscover what you actually like, what you value, what your own dreams and feelings are. They can get drowned out easily.
Did they suggest ways to make that alone time more enjoyable, less scary?
They did. Practical things, like cooking a really nice meal just for yourself, putting effort into it, watching a movie you want to watch, even if no one else gets it,
I like that.
or even practicing something, like speaking a language out loud. The main idea is the more comfortable and friendly you become with your own company, the less you depend on others for validation, and ironically, the less lonely you tend to feel overall.
Okay, so as we kind of bring this all together, it feels important to manage expectations for anyone listening. Loving yourself doesn't mean you suddenly achieve this state of perfect, constant happiness, right?
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
That's an impossible standard. Doubts don't vanish forever. Sadness still happens. Life still has problems. No one feels great all the time.
So if that's not the goal, what is the realistic aim?
If you go into this expecting 24/7 bliss, you're setting yourself up to fail, and then you'll probably blame yourself for failing. The sources offer a more mature perspective. They say self-love isn't about perfection or avoiding difficulty. It's fundamentally about being gentle with yourself.
Gentle, especially when things are tough.
Exactly. It means when life throws you curveballs, or when you stumble, you approach it with kindness, not harsh criticism.
So if you're feeling sad,
You allow yourself rest. You acknowledge you need recovery time instead of telling yourself to just get over it. If you're angry, you give yourself space to cool down before reacting instead of lashing out or bottling it up.
and mistakes.
You forgive yourself quickly. Learn the lesson, sure, but then you let it go and try again. You don't let that mistake define your entire worth. It's about compassion through the ups and the downs.
So this whole deep dive, it really feels like it comes down to a fundamental shift, moving from criticism to compassion,
Yes.
and from seeking external approval to finding internal validation.
Absolutely. If we had to summarize the biggest levers you can pull based on everything we've discussed,
Right.
it's those two things. First, consciously choosing your internal language, deciding to speak to yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a dear friend.
And second,
Second, consciously choosing your focus, focusing on your own journey, your own progress, comparing yourself only to your past self, and letting go of comparing your reality to everyone else's curated highlights. Those two choices are incredibly powerful.
and maybe the most direct, simplest action someone can take, like right now, to start anchoring this.
It comes down to that simple pause we talked about, a moment of conscious attention.
Right.
So I'd really encourage everyone listening, maybe just pause for a second right now. Take one deep breath. And as you breathe out, silently, gently, repeat those phrases we talked about earlier.
Those simple phrases, I am here, I am enough, I am valuable. And maybe here's a final thought to carry with you. How often do you actually give yourself that small gift, that moment of kind, conscious words? And just notice what shifts inside, what energy changes, even slightly, when you finally do. That's something to reflect on until our next deep dive.